Hi everyone, welcome back to Base Talk Podcast Series. Today we are back with episode 5 after a short hiatus since our previous episode. I am Syed Farihin Aiman, you may refer to me as Farihin, and with me today is Arif Iskandar Rizwan, you may refer to him as Arif. On today's episode, we will be covering something that not many are aware about, which are undergraduate scholarship opportunities. And with us today are three speakers who are pursuing their undergrad studies under an undergrad scholarship. Now, let's allow our speakers to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Farihin, and hi everyone. I'm Zulaikha. You can refer to me as Inas. I'm studying computer science and film at the University of California, Berkeley, and I'm currently a third year, and I'm under the Bank Negara Malaysia Scholarship.
All right. Hi, my name is Said Daniel, and you can call me Daniel. I'm under Petronas Mid Education Scholarship, and currently a first year taking mechanical engineering in University of Sheffield. Nice to meet you guys.
It's very good to meet you too, Daniel. Hi guys, I'm Hasya Amalin binti Zamel. You can call me Hasya. I'm a first year student studying mathematics and statistics in the University of Warwick, and I'm under CIMB ASEAN Scholarship. Nice to meet you guys.
Both Farihin and I are first year A-level students currently studying in KY. I'm under Petronas at the moment. Not at the moment, forever. Hopefully, inshallah, until the end of my education. And Farihin is currently a private student at KY. Let's get to the meat of this episode. So the topic of this episode is undergraduate scholarships, which is actually a bit out of the ordinary for Base Initiative. For those who don't know, usually focuses on promoting post SPM level scholarships. We aim to promote scholarships as a whole, but we tend to focus on post SPM only. So this is actually something kind of new. So I think the first thing that I think we're all curious to know about is that how do undergraduate scholarships differ from pre-university scholarships?
So, Hasha and Daniel, feel free to add to this.
Well,
Obviously, one of the main things is that it starts after pre-U. So for me, I was in KYUEM and I applied during my second year of A levels. And it usually will require you to hold an offer from a specific uni that's already on the list. So that could be like anywhere. I think usually it's like UK, US, Australia, even in Malaysia. And then other than that, you would also submit usually A-level results or A-level predicted grades or whatever your pre-university grade is. And also, I took the SAT, so I submitted that as well, and IELTS. And then I think another main thing is just a shorter bond, but this depends on the scholarship that you have. Some scholarships are like 2-to-1 ratio, so you study for 1 year and then work for 2 years, or it could be 1-to-1. But yeah, it depends on the university scholarship that you have. Oh wait, one more thing that I remember is pre-U scholarships also usually offer help to apply to unis. So that's just something that you kind of miss out on if you only apply for a scholarship after pre-U.
I was taking foundation in UiTM Dengkil, so the case was a bit different for me because UiTM Dengkil doesn't provide predicted grades, so there were some issues when I applied for in the UCAS system. So during the application process, the universities that I applied to requested the predicted grade, such as University of Bristol. So I didn't manage to get in Bristol because I didn't have the predicted grade. I only have the first semester results. So I applied using my first semester results. Then 4 out of 5 unis I got accepted into didn't require me to have the predicted grade. It was either the predicted grade or the final results of my foundation, which I didn't have because I was currently in the second semester. So that was for me.
I think I want to add on Ina's point just now. She said like we had to hold a conditional offer, right, for the university, but that is one of the main points. But we have to also do some research because for me personally, I wanted to apply for Petronas and Bank Negara, but the universities like they want to sponsor students too are limited. So if you are a student who hasn't applied for UCAS yet and you are planning to go for an undergraduate scholarships, do research first on the like universities scholars wants to sponsor for. Because for example, I'm doing mathematics and I wanted to apply for Petronas, but then they only wanted to sponsor students going to universities in the United States. So it wasn't an option for me to apply for Petronas under the conditional offers I was holding for. But so tips for students is do thorough research on like what courses you are applying for, what universities that you are going to. Because for example, like Bank Negara, I know in the UK for finance, they only sponsor students in Warwick, Leeds, and LSE. So if you're going to different universities, they might not want to sponsor you. But for my CIMB ASEAN scholarships, they don't have that limitation. They like you just come in, you apply with what you have, and they're gonna see if they want to sponsor you or not. So I think that's one thing like people should take into account. Do research and so that you have a higher opportunity to secure a scholarship. Yeah.
But like on the topic of like already holding a university offer, right? Is there a bit, would you consider that there to be more flexibility with like the specific course options that you can have under undergrad scholarships? Because for pre-university scholarships, the flexibility is usually very thin. For example, I'm doing economics, so Petronas will only allow me to do economics at these universities and only economics. The most leeway we have as economics students is economics and management and Oxbridge. That's it. We can't take economics with stats, economics with geography. We can't take any of that. But is that the case for you guys, or is there a bit more flexibility with that?
I think it depends on what scholarship you are applying to, because some sponsorships, they are very like strict on the subject they want to sponsor for, because like maybe they want their like workers coming back to be a graduate from that specific area. I think it totally depends on the sponsorship, because for CIMB, you would imagine it to be like a banking, it's a bank, right? But until the final stage, there is also a candidate who was taking chemical engineering. So he made it to the final stage of CIMB. So for me, for CIMB personally, you have to convince the sponsorships how your degree can benefit them. This is applying to a scholarship which is not that strict on the courses. I think there are other scholarships, there are other sponsors who really want their student to be specifically maybe only doing econs in this specific university. That's the part where you have to do thorough research.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like for Bank Negara also it's very the one thing about doing the research is sometimes the universities won't be out for your academic year. So you're just gonna have to look at previous years and then hope that it's like kind of similar. It doesn't change much. But when you look at the previous year's universities, usually they have a field of study. This is for Bank Negara, and I feel like maybe Petronas also has like field of study where they say, okay, you can do econs at this uni and like accounting and finance at this uni and then CS and DS at this uni. So it's very specific. I guess in my case, because I'm doing computer science and film, it's like two separate degrees. The thing about Bank Negara is they're sponsoring me to do computer science, but the thing about studying in the US is you can do classes in any kind of major you want and like declare that major, then also graduate with that degree. So that's what's happening in my case, but they still very specifically want like a computer science degree in that way.
I would like to add to Harsha's point just now about the scholarship, especially for mid-education scholarship for Petronas. There's like they only sponsor to UK and US, so there are limited universities that you can apply to. I actually have 3 out of my four offers, 5 offers. 3 out of 4 offers that I applied to that I can apply for Petronas. So Petronas only requested one university that you really want to go. So you don't have the firm and insurance offer for Petronas. So you can only put one. So you have to be firm on your choice and why you want to go there. Because from experience from my friends also from UiTM Dengkil, they also tried to apply to Petronas and other scholarships, but they have unconditional offers also, but not for the unis that Petronas sponsored to. So they didn't have the chance to go to the other stages of the the scholarship. So I would agree on Hasha's point that you should do more research on these scholarships, or you will get stuck in the process, or it will take a longer time for you.
Thank you, guys. So, um, that was very helpful to understand the differences between undergrad scholarships and also pre-university scholarships. Now, after understanding these differences, I would like to know about the application process and also the timeline for your scholarship provider. Because you know how foundation studies, A-levels, STPM, they all finish at different times. So I would like to know what is the timeline like for scholarship applications and also how is the application process?
And I feel like mine would be the most outdated though because I applied in 2022. But at the time that I applied, the application opened for 10 days only. It was very quick. I feel like that was one thing about the pre-U scholarships is that like at least in 2022, it wasn't publicized as much. You really had to go out of your way and like check the websites or like hear from people, like hear from the KY counselors that it was open. And then it was also only open for such a short period of time. But it opened in 16 June until 26th of June, which was I think after like right after A2. Then I applied and heard back on the 1st of July when they were asking for more documents and everything. And then by 8th of July, they reached out about Kijang Academy. So they have like this in-person assessment. And then there was like a 2-minute video submission that we had to do and this psychometric assessment. And at the time, it was like still really early post-COVID. So it was very like take your COVID tests and the results before the assessment and stuff like that. That happened like June, July. That was like right after A-levels. And then I think we heard back maybe end of July or early August. But yeah, that was the timeline of it.
My timeline was I applied last year during May of 17 during my finals of semester 2 for foundation studies. A bit stressful at that time because I have to focus on the scholarships and the final. I managed to pull through, fortunately. After I applied in May 17, 3 days after that, I got to the second stage of the assessment. Then around 2 weeks go past, I got an email for the final stage for the interview. So the interview was around 6th of June. And then the results is around 1 month after the interview. So roughly around 2 months in total that the scholarship for Petronas itself that I took to apply, to do the assessments, and to do the interview itself. So yeah.
Me too. I applied for several other scholarships beside from CIMB, and I believe that the earliest one was Maybank. It was like around March of last year. It was very early compared to the rest, but a lot of people like didn't realize it was opened, and a lot of my friends missed the application. So you really have to look on detail, like when do they open, because like Ina said, it's a really short period of time, and a lot of people can like miss it. So if about CIMB, it begins by the end of May is the application process. I believe it's in around like 2 or 3 weeks. They open for you to like submit your application, your essays, and so on. And I heard back by early June, and that was for online assessment. For the first stage, we had like games, a lot of online assessments. After that, another month, by early of July, I had an online assessment center through Teams. We had to do 2 case studies. And then after that, in 2 weeks, I had an in-country interview by some of the staff members of CIMB in Menara CIMB itself, because CIMB ASEAN Scholarship, it is Southeast Asian scholarship. So people from Indonesia, people from Singapore, people from Thailand who came and applied for the scholarship also had to come in to CIMB. It's called the in-person interview. This was the 4th stage, and the last and final stage, it was by the early August. 7th of August was my final interview. It was by one staff and also a senior member of CIMB. And I was interviewed by the CEO of CIMB Summit Banking, Mr. Shariman. CIMB has 5 stages, and the result was out by the 21st of August. So it was like a month before flying to the UK. I came on the 21st of September. So it was a very long period of time from May till August, and it consisted of 5 stages. That was specifically for CIMB scholarship.
The application process itself, the application form actually opens for 8 days. For Petronas, it considers as the first stage. You have to submit the documents. This is important for future applicants. You need to prepare documents such as like birth certificate, your parents' IC, many like the salary slips for your parents. They will ask for it. So you need to have it signed by higher officials. So you need to have these types of documents ready before applying because it will save you a lot of time. It was a big hectic because I didn't have those documents ready. So I have to go out of my way during the finals so to have them approved by higher officials. To add on, Petronas opens the scholarship for 8 days for applying. So it was a very short period. And I agree on Inas and Hasha's what they say. It is still not open to the public. I mean, it is open to the public, but it's not well known. It's still kinda underground like that, I would say. And to find it in specific Telegram groups, as I did, I scrolled every day in one Telegram group, searching if it could accept foundation studies or any pre-U level of education. You really have to look out for these type of scholarships.
More things to add based on Daniel and Hasha's responses. I realized I missed out a few things as well. Like what Daniel said about the documents is so true because when they asked for documents from me, it was like 1st of July and they needed it by the 3rd of July. And they asked for like those income slips. They asked for this thing called EA form, which I don't even recall what that is anymore. But yeah, you needed to get that in like 2 days. And then also to get into more detail on Kijang Academy, it was like an overnight. The assessment was on like one day, but we had to stay at the place overnight. So it's kind of like you just had to be on your best behavior the whole time. And it was really nice because you meet so many different people. Then on the assessment day, it was like a case study first in a group. And then there was like individual interviews after that with like engineers or whoever that's in your field in the bank.
As for me, I was in Japan at that time, so I didn't manage to sign those documents. It was very hard at that time because I was in Japan. I would not recommend to travel at that current time because you need to be present in Malaysia to make it all easy and sort all the documents with your family or friends. Yeah.
I actually honestly can relate to a lot of that because I think this is something that can also be applied to pre-university scholarships as well. Because like for me, I also had the same problem. I almost missed the Petronas deadline for application because I couldn't get my documents signed in time. I almost missed it. I think this is just a general tip for scholarships as a whole. Get your documents ready early, because it will really save you when the time comes in case of like any very close or tight deadlines. I think as a whole we can see that undergraduate scholarships do share a lot of similarities with post SPM level scholarships, but it also has a few differences. Like from what you guys all said, it seems like it really depends on the body, on the scholarship body. Whereas for post SVM level scholarships, it's very easy. Like it's just after results, get online and look at the list of scholarships. They will have the links there and just bang, 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 bang. Just apply, copy, paste, copy, paste. Moving on. I think all of us are also wondering, like, at least within pre-university, there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of activities, not just academics. We were wondering if like what you guys did for in terms of extracurricular activities that you thought strengthened your undergraduate scholarship application, and if you would have any advice regarding extracurricular activities.
All right, so for me, during my time in A levels, I did it in College Mara Seremban. I joined quite a few things. I joined the Student Representative Council. I was the vice president. And also I joined quite a few sports. I joined badminton, ping pong, tennis, and so on. I think everyone, no matter where you are, you have an opportunity to join a lot of things, right? But for me, one thing I want to point out where I believe really boosted my application in the sponsorship program was I joined virtual internship. I joined a virtual internship under a company in Kenya, Take Six Africa. It was a film company, but I was under the finance department. So it took me 3 months, but it didn't take a lot of energy because it was like one time a week where I had to submit like the things that they asked me for. But what I want to say is what will boost your application is your extracurricular working towards your career. Sponsors will really see like you're thinking of what you want to join because you are moving to what you are pursuing in your degree and forwarding in your career. Because for example, even though the degree I'm doing right now is mathematics and statistics, it's really a big degree, like you can apply it anywhere. But the extracurricular I joined was a virtual internship under a finance company. So it really boosted my application in CIMB specifically. So maybe one of the tips you can do is target scholarships. What scholarship you want to apply for, and maybe work towards that in your extracurricular. But any other general things is also good, like debating competitions, sports, a variety of things can really show that you are a well-rounded person. One crucial point is work towards your career, work towards your degree, and join things that are related to that. Because for application to the universities, you have to write a personal statement. Specifically for the UK universities, they really want you to focus more on academic things, on things related to your academics. For my personal statement, I wrote like 5 paragraphs. 4 of them were related to academics and 1 was related to extracurricular. But 4 of these were things I joined that are related to academics. That's why I feel like the virtual internship, maybe mathematics competition and so on. So my point is like work towards your degree or towards the sponsorship you are applying for.
We can say that there's like a big correlation between like the extracurricular, like basically all the extracurricular activities you would do to help your personal statement or your university application is basically the same that you would have for your um
For your
scholarship
application.
applications.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
As for me, I did a lot of sports and I joined a lot of competitions for my extracurricular activities. So what I joined was innovation competitions. I've joined many international innovation competition and I got gold medal in the Malaysian International Young Inventors Olympiad. So that really boosted my application itself towards Petronas needs, as Petronas is an innovative company itself. So that really helped me. As for sports, I think it does also help, but it doesn't compare to the things as the company wants, such as Hasya said, such as MB, they maybe need people that has joined something related to the financing world or the statistics. And for Petronas, I would think that they want someone who is innovative, and because Petronas is led and filled with engineers itself. So the innovative competitions that I've joined really helped my personal statement and applied to most of the scholarships that I applied to. Even in the personal statement, I put some of my extracurricular activities, but more on my academic side.
I feel like those are really great points from Hasha and Daniel. I think working on something that is related to your major is really big. Scholarships, I don't know like exactly what they're looking for, but I think that that is really helpful. And I know one thing is, they're looking for somebody with leadership qualities, who has teamwork capabilities, is like good at working in a team, because I feel like we all know we'll be bonded, so they're looking for people that they would like to work with in the future. And so like a lot of extracurricular involvement and just like being involved with the community is big, so that they know, you're a people person and you can work with different kinds of people and different teams. Me personally, I did not really join many things related to my major. This is something I was also like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna get into any of these unis or get any scholarships at all, because I wasn't in like a robotics competition or like team. I wasn't really in the computer science club or anything like that. I also didn't even know how to code before I went to uni. So I really just did a lot of other things. Like I ended up doing, well, in KY specifically, I was house captain of my sports house, which is Sapphire. And I played touch rugby, and we did a lot of like fundraising activities. We organized a lot of things together. So I really kind of honed in on that teamwork aspect and like working with other people. And then I was also part of the journalism club. I was the vice president, which I feel like it doesn't really exist anymore. But I did a lot of journalism. I am a very big like photography and like documentation, like film person. So I was doing that on top of like being this like photojournalist for this page called Stories from Malaysia. And then there's this thing called KYUEM Summit, which I think you guys still have. And for that, I was one of the creative coordinators. So also like, making the logo and like marketing things. Like I am a very graphic person, and I feel like that's kind of how I tied into computer science, because I feel like I love graphics. I love like that kind of thing. Like computer graphics is kind of the realm that I feel like I'm going into when it comes to computer science. So for different majors or different degrees, it's like there are different, like Hasha was saying, because maths and stats is like connected to finance in the way that computer science is connected to a bunch of different things. So it might not have to be like you're in the computer science club, but being good at tying everything together is one thing. I did some community service outside of KY. I was part of the Rotaract Club of Bukit Kira Sunrise. And so there was a lot of like initiative when there was like floods around KL and like Klang Valley. So we raised a lot of money for that. And I think, yeah, I don't think there's like a specific thing that you should do to aim for these scholarships. I feel like just having like that passion and doing what you love is a very big thing, because I feel like it translates into any of the interviews that you have or the essays that you write, like just being genuine and maybe sitting down and thinking about what you enjoy. Honestly, anything you enjoy, there's a career for that, and like there's a way that you can make an impact in that. So yeah, thinking about that. And one thing is like in hindsight, I realized, and I think it would be good, especially if you're first year in KY or like first year in any pre-U, it's like you're not confined to what is available to you in KY or at your pre-U institution. There's like so many clubs, and you're like, okay, which one can I join? Like, which one is my community? But you can also build your own community. You can make something your own if you're passionate about something that doesn't exist. It's always a big thing to show that initiative, like I have new ideas and I want to bring that to like this, you know what I mean? In KY, I didn't that's why this is in hindsight, because I didn't really start anything really impactful, but I started this like WhatsApp group called KY Thrifties, where people like sold and like resold a bunch of things. You guys still use that?
Oh, that was you.
Yeah,
Oh my
Okay.
god!
And it was so funny because I would be in my apartment with my apartment mates, and we're like, oh my God, what should we sell now? Like, it was so good. Okay. And then people started
Wow.
doing, so I was like, okay. But, just like, I feel like just have fun with it. And like, yeah, I feel like being yourself can take you a long way. But sometimes, like, at that age, you don't really have a specific academic interest, and you're like, oh my God, I have to fake it till I make it. And sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. So, just be strategic about it.
But like on the point of not that impactful, I will say that KY Thrifties was very impactful. It's like a touchstone of like the KY group chats. It's used
Yeah, it's so
daily.
useful right now. It's so useful.
I've
It's so
actually
useful. So
heard.
like we have a lot to thank for that.
You
And
made
also speaking of
impact
Yeah.
KY
over
Summit,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
And also,
funny.
yeah, I think we can the general consensus from all of the responses here. It ranges from doing things that relates that pushes forward your personal statement and your what you're passionate and also what you're passionate about. Because if you're passionate about something, then it's easy for you to be very genuine, and that will definitely show for both university and also scholarships.
Yeah, I think I got a lot, I got a lot of notes down from that conversation, and it would really help like everyone who's looking for undergraduate scholarships, like planning what their extracurricular activities would be, and like finding something impactful to do for their community. Just for that. But now we're moving on to um something might be a bit personal, but because I went through this, and I'm sure many other people have went through this. So we applied for like after STMs, most students will apply for pre-U scholarships, and for the people that didn't get it, they would feel discouraged. So I would like to know if any of you applied for any pre-university scholarships, and if so, did you face any rejections? And I would also want to hear your advice for students who felt discouraged after the scholarships rejected them.
I got an email from CIMB. Basically, I got rejected by 3 scholarships before I got Petronas on the same day. It was really heartbreaking to see I got rejected first by CIMB, next by YTL, then the next is Gamuda. So lastly, the last email came through and it was from Petronas, and I was like in the face of defeat. I'm just hoping I'm just expecting the worst. So when I opened the email, I got Petronas, Alhamdulillah. So what I would do if I would just face the rejection, for me, I just pray that there will be something better for me in the end. So if I get rejected 100 times, 1,000 times, there will always something better for me in the end. For me, I seek to Allah for um istikharah. Where should I go? What should I do? Yeah, that's from me.
So talking about rejection, after SPM, I literally applied to every possible scholarship there was. Name it, JPA, Bank Negara, Petronas, Telecom, TNB, everything. And I got rejected from like literally every scholarship. So I was in UM for 5 days, and then I got an intake for a second offer for YTP, for Mara to go to KMS. And I think that a closed door is an open opportunity somewhere else. Because I believe like KMS really made me grow as a person. It like allowed me to join like various programs, like push um a lot of qualities in myself. But I believe like after A levels, I applied to the same as Daniel did. I applied to Gamuda, YTL, CIMB, Petronas. I couldn't because I didn't have the university, and I only got offered for CIMB. That was the only one. The others I was rejected to. What I can say for people facing the rejection is just do your best in the application process. Make sure that no matter the results, you have no regrets. That's what's important, because as human beings, like we can't control the outcome, but what we can do is just do things under our control, put our best in everything we do so that we are satisfied no matter what it is. Because do believe that no matter where you are in the best place for you at that right time. So
Well, actually, same. Like after SPM, I applied for like everything. I got rejected by everything, so that's what happened. But it's okay. Like Hasha and Daniel are both saying that like everything really happens for a reason. Like you really don't see it in the moment, but if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be, and like whatever is meant for you won't miss you. So, just just, yeah, you just gotta cry it all out and then pick yourself back up. Like, it's not the end of the world. We're actually so young right now. There's so much more in the future. Like, don't even worry about it. I feel like, yeah, hopefully, like, inshallah, we can be inspiration that, after rejections, something will come along. But, it might take a year, it might take like a week, or it might even take a couple of years. You won't know. But I feel like just doing your best when things are in control, like Hasya said, and when it's not in your control, just like pack it up. You have to move forward. You have to be strong for yourself.
Thank you guys so much. Okay, like actually, like it made me feel better with my situation right now because same as you guys, I got rejected by all the scholarships I applied to. So like, yeah, thank you so much for all that. While we're still on the topic of rejections, like while you guys were applying for undergraduate scholarships, did you guys have other plans in case you guys were rejected by the undergrad scholarships?
I did have my plans. So my backup plan was we as students from the UPU system, as I'm in Asasi. So after Asasi, we can apply to back to UPU for the degree itself. So we have multiple choices. So I got my main choice that I wanted. That was UTM Skudai, for mechanical engineering also. And my fallback plan was that. And UTM even offered me 1 year of my education for free because I got fall flat for my foundations. In the topic of rejection, students that get rejected to fly abroad, there are always better opportunities in Malaysia itself, that you can see, because even when you study abroad, there are many challenges to it than you think. So don't get disheartened. Maybe you don't get it for your undergraduate. You can probably study abroad in the future in your master's or in your PhD, or even when you're working. So there's nothing to worry about.
Continuing, for me, I was fortunate enough to have a backup plan. I was under Mara that time, under YTP. So in that case, if I didn't get any other scholarship, I will be here funded by Mara. But I believe for other, like Daniel said, there are a lot of other opportunities locally. Like University Malaya has a higher ranking than university I'm going to right now. So there's nothing to like worry too much about, because it is the main point is, as long as you are continuing to study, that's already the best. But I have one alternative that I think is really interesting, and I just found out was CIMB. They also sponsor people that have already completed the first year of degree. So the people from my batch, there were 13 people who were accepted by CIMB, and I think like half of them have already started their degree for the first year. And like they go to local universities such as APU, and so on. So maybe, I'm not sure if like you were rejected during the application to start your degree program, you can still apply after the first year of your degree. That is specifically for CIMB scholarship. So maybe you can also look into other scholarships if they have something similar to that.
One of my friends is under CIMB ASEAN scholarship also, and I think she got it like second year-ish at Bath. So yeah, like so many other options. For me personally, my firm choice in the UK was Imperial, and I think I would have considered that. I was lucky to think about that, and also I was thinking about Mara loans. I think Mara gives loans, but yeah, and then that one is also like you don't have to be in the first year of uni. So another option is like maybe you just like go for your first year and then reapply in second year, like Hasya said. And also there are a bunch of unis in Malaysia that have like twinning programs. So you can look into going to unis that have twinning programs, and then maybe you study there, maybe you can apply for a scholarship to study abroad for maybe 2 or 1 year out of that. But yeah, like it's really, there's so many opportunities out there. Sometimes it's easy to feel like, there's just this and you need the scholarship and you need to go overseas, but actually there's a lot of options. So
that we have to believe that we are that we are always in the best place for us. And there's this quote from one of my favorite books that talks about what is the most important step a person can take. And the answer to that is it's always the next one, meaning that regardless of whatever that happens, the most important thing to do is always to pick yourself back up and keep on moving. So, and I think that really applies to this topic specifically. So first, Inas. So we both of us are KY students, and you being a really, really, really super senior to us. If you ask someone if they're sponsored or not, most likely they're gonna say yeah. So we were wondering what your experience in that was, and if you felt any pressure or competition, or was it just like a normal experience to you?
Okay, first of all, you're making me sound way too old. Like, I'm not that old. I'm not that. You said one too many supers there. I don't think I'm that much of a super senior. I understand the concern because sometimes you're like, oh my God, everybody is so accomplished, and you're surrounded by some of like just the best minds in KL, like, or sorry, in Malaysia. But in my case, I had a great experience. I was very lucky with my batchmates. I feel like everyone was so welcoming. Um, and I don't know, sometimes you come in and people like know each other because they're from the same scholarship. So the thing that I was worried about is like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna have any friends. But I feel like the biggest thing is that it's like mind over matter because you're really like it's all in your head when you're like, oh, I'm a private student. I'm like different from everybody and I'm just gonna sit in the corner. Like, no, you like I feel like once you start talking to people, like you realize that everyone is there for the same reason. Like everyone's just there to study, to learn, to like do A levels. And yeah, and just really just be yourself. Don't let it get to your head, you know? But sometimes you have to look in the mirror and be like, I am me. If people are gonna look down on me because I don't have a scholarship, then I don't want to be friends with these people with life. But like really, like you are so special as me like looking at Farihin and saying this. You are so special. Like
Yeah, I feel like you're talking to me personally. I'm like, I wish you were my counselor right now.
like don't let anyone put you down.
So I'm pretty sure people like me can relate to that. Because like I had the same exact emotions as you had in the beginning. Like you felt like you would have no friends, but now like I'm friends with like almost everyone. Like I talk to everybody in my batch now. So yeah, it's a good experience lah. I would like to ask, what was your education journey like after SPM? Because we noticed that you attended your ITM here and doing foundation, which not many people know that you can apply for undergrad scholarships using foundation, especially from Malaysia. What was your experience pursuing foundation in your attending here? And yeah, what was that pathway like for you?
My journey was a bit bumpy. After SPM, I got my results and it was not very pleasing. I didn't get straight A's. I didn't manage to apply to scholarships. It was at that state that I was really down because I only got 6 A's and 3 B plus. But it changed me for the better as I realized I could do much better than this. I heard Dunkel had better facilities and better lecturers, so that was true. I went to Dunkel, and the pressure really kicks in when you know that your classmates is filled with straight A students and you're non straight A student. I would like to say that you need to have a great mindset to beat these students. You need to have great determination. For me, I sat in front of every class. I asked my lecturers, what did I do wrong? What's my problem with these subjects? And I asked them to guide me in the right way for most of my subjects. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's the main thing that I want to say. If you're afraid, you're not going to get anywhere in life. Hard work beat talent. In my foundation studies, I compared them to A levels and IB. Basically, the module that we were taking is basically, I would say it's the same, but it's a little bit fast as foundation is like 10 months. So you really have to get through all of these modules within 10 months, and you have to master them to answer the final exam. People say foundation is easy. It's very fast paced. It's not that easy if you cannot manage your time.
At the time when you were doing your foundation, was it a popular pathway within UITM? Or was it like something that's a bit more like unique to you? Like you were like kind of like the odd one out per se in that regard.
Actually, at first I even didn't know that I could apply for overseas. I heard a rumor that someone applied to overseas using foundation results, but that was only a rumor. I didn't know if it was real. I tried contacting an agent that's called IDP. Then I tried applying from there, and then I got my offers from the universities. This is not a popular pathway in Dengkil, actually. It's not well known. After I finished my foundation, I was invited as a speaker there. And now it is a popular pathway as people are competing to get into overseas using foundation results. No, I'm not the only one from Dengkil, but there are also people that went to Australia. It's World Top University, Mara. It's like a pinjaman lah. There's also one more Petronas Mid Education Scholarship holder here in Sheffield. It's my batchmate for mechanical also. So I was really surprised to meet someone from my sponsor and from my batch. No. In the UK itself, there's younger people than you, actually, because students locally here are mostly like 18, 19, even 17.
In fact, we can also see that like in A levels as well. Since like people who follow the international syllabus, they finish their high school at the age of 16. So you have 16-year-olds mixing with 18-year-olds. And it's like kind of surreal how like some 16-year-olds are taking like 5 subjects, which is crazy because like usually in A levels you take 3 or 4, right? So like yeah, we also relate to that, like the age dynamic. So we noticed that you study at KMS, as you mentioned earlier. So if I'm not mistaken, you were under Mara during that time.
Yes. Yep.
So we were just like wondering like what was like that transition like? Did Mara only sponsor like your pre-U, or were they planning to sponsor your whole thing, but you just transitioned from that to CIMB?
Initially, I didn't think I was able to do this because I thought I was like already like stuck with Mara initially. But how I found out was through seniors. I had 2 seniors above me who they did A levels under Mara, and then they got other sponsorships such as Bank Negara, BNM for LSE, and also Choji, she went under PNB to University Berkeley, California Berkeley. How it happened for me was I applied during A levels, and then Mara sponsored me for the A levels, and then I continued with CIMB after that. That was an option I found out during the time because my counselor said we are able to do so. So if any Mara scholars are watching, you can do that. But if you don't, it's okay. You still have to go with Mara. So
Also quite unique piece of information.
Mhm.
That's not an everyday story you hear. So
Yeah.
I think the audience take note of that. If you could go back in time and give yourself, along with other pre-university students, one key piece of advice about the undergraduate scholarship application process, what would it be?
My piece of advice, if I could turn back time, is be prepared. Be prepared for the process of application. You can miss out a lot if you are not. And then trust the process because it might take time. You'll go through a roller coaster of emotions throughout getting like application done, facing rejection and so on. But believe that everything that is meant for you will find you in the end.
Stay on top of things, stay on top of deadlines, keep grinding it out, and be the best version of yourself.
I would say that you need to fight these challenges on your own. No one is going to help you except yourself and Allah. So that's what I always keep in my mind. I always say that to myself when I'm on the verge of giving up.
Yeah. One more thing is don't let other things distract you. Stay focused on the goal. There's always like these little things happening around you, but then you have to remember it. Like if these things don't matter and won't matter in a few months, then yeah, like focus on the things that will matter for a long time.
But like, I think what we can get from this is basically like, stay focused, have a strong mentality, and yeah, just be yourself and like keep your mindset positive. I think that's what I'm getting from this. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into the Base Talk podcast. See you all in the next episode. Bye bye.